Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this course of basic genetics. And we are going to look at the structure of DNA today. And this structure of DNA we are going to look at forms the first module of this course, basic genetics. DNA is the molecule that carries the genetic information of all living organisms. It contains the instructions that determine our characteristics such as eye color, height, and many other inherited traits. One of the most fascinating features of DNA is its double helix structure. A double helix structure, which is shown on your screen, looks like a twisted ladder. DNA is made up of two strands that wind around each other to form this unique shape. In eukaryotic organisms, such as plants, animals, and humans, DNA is primarily found inside the nucleus of the cell. The two strands of DNA are made up of long chains called polynucleotide chains, which are linked together to form the complete DNA molecule. Now, on this second slide, I show you a single DNA strand. Looking at this single DNA strand, we can observe that each DNA strand is composed of small building blocks called nucleotides. Every nucleotide contains three important components. One, we call it a deoxyribose sugar, also known as a pentose sugar. The second is a phosphate group. The third is a nitrogen base or nitrogenous base. Those three, the deoxyribose sugar, pentose, phosphate group, and nitrogen base, constitute what we call a single nucleotide, which is the building block of DNA. There are three different forms of nitrogen bases found in DNA. The first is called adenine, represented by letter A. The second is thymine, represented by letter T. The third, cytosine, represented by letter C. And the fourth is guanine, represented by letter G. These nucleotides connect together to form a longer chain, creating what we call a DNA strand. The sugar and phosphate molecules form the backbone of the strand, while the nitrogen bases extend inwards. And I would like us to examine the strand of DNA in detail by looking at that structure which you can see on your screen. When two DNA strands come together, they form the complete DNA molecule. The nitrogen bases on one strand pair with bases on the opposite strand according to specific rules which are called complementary base pairing, in such a way that adenine pairs with thymine, while cytosine pairs with guanine. These pairs are held together by hydrogen bonds, which help maintain the stability of the DNA structure. Because the two strands are connected by complementary base pairing, DNA can accurately store and transmit genetic information from one generation to the next. The twisted ladder arrangement of the paired strands creates the famous double helix structure discovered by scientists James Watson and Francis Crick. In conclusion, DNA, as we've already seen, is the genetic material of all living organisms. It is located mainly in the nucleus of eukaryotic cells. It is a double helix structure made up of two polynucleotide strands, and each strand consists of nucleotides that contain sugar, phosphate, and a nitrogen base. Base pairing follows specific rules in such a way that adenine pairs with thymine and cytosine pairs with guanine. This structure allows DNA to store and pass genetic information accurately. Thank you for watching, and in the next lesson, we'll explore how DNA replicates and how genetic information is used by cells. Thank you very much. I remain your instructor, John Bukenya.